My name is Briar Holloway, and I never thought I'd be celebrating the purchase of my first home by arguing with my mother-in-law on the front lawn. But here we are, barely moved in, and Marjorie's already making herself at home, uninvited and unwelcome. Kellen, darling, you wouldn't turn your own mother away, would you? Marjorie's voice drips with honey-coated venom as she clutches her designer handbag to her chest. I've lost everything. The bank, they've taken it all. I watch my husband's face crumple with concern. Mom, what happened? Why didn't you call us? Oh, it all happened so fast. I didn't want to burden you, she sniffs, dabbing at non-existent tears. I can't help but notice her perfectly manicured nails and the glint of diamonds at her ears. Some financial ruin. Kellen, I interject, trying to keep the edge from my voice. Can we talk about this inside? I'm sure the neighbors don't need a front row seat to family drama. He nods, ushering his mother through the door. I follow, my stomach nodding with each step. This was supposed to be our fresh start, our chance to build a life together. Now, it feels like we're being invaded. Inside, Marjorie wastes no time making herself comfortable on our new couch. It's quaint, she says, her eyes roving over our carefully chosen furniture. I suppose it'll do for now. For now, I echo, my eyebrows shooting up. Marjorie, we can't. Briar, Kellen cuts me off, his voice low. She's family. We can't just leave her with nowhere to go. I bite my tongue, hard. The taste of copper fills my mouth as I watch Marjorie's lips curl into a triumphant smile. She's won this round, but something tells me the war is just beginning. It's been 2 weeks since Marjorie moved in, and our once peaceful home has become a battleground. I'm in the kitchen, scrubbing dishes with more force than necessary, when I hear Marjorie's sickeningly sweet voice from the living room. Kellen, darling, don't you think Briar could use some help around the house? It's not like she's working anymore. I grip the sponge tighter, willing myself not to react. Kellen's response is muffled, but I can imagine his discomfort. Mom, Briar's been applying for jobs nonstop. She doesn't need. Of course, Marjorie interrupts. I just worry about you, sweetheart. A man shouldn't have to come home to a messy house after a long day at work. That's it. I storm into the living room, my hands still dripping with soapy water. Our house is a messy, Marjorie, and I don't need your help or your criticism. Marjorie's eyes widen in faux innocence. Oh, Briar, I didn't mean to offend. I'm just trying to help. Bree, Kellen starts, his voice pleading. Mom's just adjusting. We all are. I turn to him, disbelief etched on my face. Are you kidding me? You're defending her? I'm not defending anyone, he says, raising his hands. I just think we all need to take a breath. Marjorie smirks behind Kellen's back, and something in me snaps. You know what? I need some air. I'm going for a walk. I grab my keys and jacket, ignoring Kellen's calls as I slam the door behind me. Outside, I take a deep breath of the crisp evening air, trying to calm my racing heart. As I walk, I can't help but think about how quickly things have unraveled. Marjorie's presence is like a poison, seeping into every corner of our lives. And Kellen? He's either blind to it or choosing not to see. One thing's for certain. Something's got to give, and soon. Because I'm not sure how much more of this I can take. I slam my laptop shut, fury coursing through my veins. After weeks of fruitless job hunting, I've finally discovered why every promising lead has suddenly gone cold. Marjorie's been intercepting my emails, sabotaging my applications. The realization hits me like a punch to the gut. Storming into the living room, I find Kellen lounging on the couch, his mother perched beside him like a vulture. We need to talk, I say, my voice trembling with barely contained rage. Now. Kellen looks up, concern etched on his face. Bree, what's wrong? Your mother, I spit out, has been sabotaging my job search. She's been deleting emails, canceling interviews. She's the reason I can't find work. Marjorie's face contorts into a mask of innocence. Briar, dear, that's absurd. Why would I do such a thing? Because you're trying to drive me out, I snap. You want me gone so you can have Kellen all to yourself. Kellen stands, his eyes darting between us. Briar, that's a serious accusation. Do you have any proof? I laugh bitterly. Of course you'd take her side. You always do. I'm not taking sides, he protests weakly. Well, I'm done. I declare, my resolve hardening. It's time to choose, Kellen. Either she goes or I do. The room falls silent, tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Marjorie's eyes fill with crocodile tears as she turns to her son. Kellen, you can't let her do this. I'm your mother. She's tearing this family apart. Kellen looks torn, his face a battlefield of conflicting emotions. Briar, please, there has to be another way. There isn't, I say firmly. I won't live like this anymore. Make your choice. As I watch Kellen struggle, caught between the two women in his life, I realize with a sinking heart that I might have just lost everything. But I'd rather walk away with my dignity than live another day under Marjorie's tyranny. The ball's in Kellen's court now, and I hold my breath, waiting for his decision. The shrill ring of Kellen's phone shatters the tense silence that's settled over our house. His face pales as he listens, and my stomach drops. Mom's in the hospital, he says, grabbing his keys. She collapsed at the grocery store. I have to go. I want to scream that it's another manipulation, but the words die in my throat. Instead, I watch him rush out, leaving me alone with my suspicions and a gnawing sense of defeat. Hours pass, and I can't shake the feeling that something's off. Marjorie's timing is too convenient, too calculated. With Kellen gone, I decide to do some digging. I start with a simple online search of Marjorie's name, but it quickly leads me down a rabbit hole of shocking discoveries. Old newspaper articles, court records, and social media posts paint a picture of a woman I barely recognize. There's a pattern of financial disputes, broken relationships, and suspicious windfalls. But it's an obituary that makes my blood run cold. Kellen's father, a successful businessman, died under mysterious circumstances, leaving everything to Marjorie. My phone buzzes with a text from Kellen. Mom's okay. Just dehydration. Staying overnight for observation. I barely register the words, my mind reeling from what I've uncovered. Could Marjorie have been responsible for her husband's death? For her own financial ruin? As I dig deeper, I uncover a trail of deceit stretching back decades. Marjorie isn't just manipulative, she's dangerous. The front door opens and Kellen walks in, exhaustion etched on his face. Bree, I know things have been tough, but Mom really needs us right now. I meet his gaze, my heart heavy with the weight of my discoveries. How can I tell him that the woman he's worried sick over might be a cold-blooded con artist? Or worse? Kellen, I start, my voice barely above a whisper. There's something you need to know about your mother. My hands shake as I stare at the computer screen, the evidence of Marjorie's deceit laid bare before me. Bank statements, offshore accounts, all brimming with funds she claimed not to have. The life insurance payout from Kellen's father's death, a sum that could set us up for life, sits untouched in a Cayman Islands account. Briar? Kellen's voice startles me. I quickly minimize the windows, guilt and anger warring within me. Hey. I manage, trying to keep my voice steady. How's your mom? Better. She's coming home tomorrow. He pauses, noticing my tension. What's going on? I take a deep breath. It's now or never. Kellen, I need to show you something. As I pull up the documents, explaining each damning piece of evidence, I watch the color drain from his face. Disbelief, anger, and hurt flash across his features in rapid succession. This can't be real, he mutters, shaking his head. My mom wouldn't. She couldn't. I'm sorry, Kellen, but it's all here. The accounts, the insurance money, even records of her selling off your dad's assets. He slumps into a chair, his world crumbling around him. All this time, she's been lying, manipulating us. I reach for his hand, relieved when he doesn't pull away. I know it's hard to believe, but we can't ignore this. She's been playing us from the start. Kellen's jaw clenches, a spark of determination igniting in his eyes. We need to confront her, make her explain all of this. I nod, a plan already forming. We will, but we need to be smart about it. If we go in guns blazing, she'll find a way to twist it around on us. He looks at me, a mix of gratitude and resolve in his gaze. You're right. We do this together on our terms. As we begin to strategize, I feel a weight lift off my shoulders. Finally, Kellen sees the truth. Now, we just need to make Marjorie face it too. The living room feels like a courtroom as we gather for the family meeting. Marjorie sits across from us, her face a mask of concern. If I didn't know better, I'd almost believe her act. What's this about, dears? She asks, her voice dripping with false sweetness. Kellen clears his throat, his hand gripping mine tightly. Mom, we need to talk about your financial situation. I slide the folder of evidence across the coffee table. Marjorie's eyes narrow as she flips through the pages, her mask slipping for a moment. What is this nonsense? She snaps, tossing the folder aside. Briar, what lies have you been feeding my son? They're not lies, Marjorie, I say, keeping my voice steady. We have proof of your hidden accounts, the life insurance money, everything. Marjorie turns to Kellen, her eyes brimming with tears. Sweetheart, you can't believe this. She's trying to turn you against me. I watch Kellen waver, his resolve crumbling under his mother's performance. This is the moment I've been dreading and preparing for. I think we should watch this, I say, pulling out my phone. With a deep breath, I press play on the video I discovered during my investigation. Marjorie's voice fills the room, bragging to a friend about her clever manipulation. And they bought it hook, line, and sinker. Poor Kellen, always so gullible. And that wife of his? She'll be out of the picture soon enough. The color drains from Marjorie's face as she watches herself on the screen, her carefully constructed lies crumbling around her. Kellen stands abruptly, his face a storm of emotions. How could you, Mom? All this time. Marjorie's demeanor shifts instantly, her eyes hardening. You ungrateful brats. After everything I've done for you. As Marjorie launches into a tirade of justifications and accusations, I meet Kellen's gaze. The truth is out, but the battle is far from over. The real confrontation is just beginning. The room crackles with tension as Marjorie's mask finally slips away, revealing the cold, calculating woman beneath. You want to know the truth? She snarls, her eyes flashing with defiance.
Fine.
I took what was rightfully mine. Your father, she spits, glaring at Kellen, was a fool who would have squandered everything we built together. Kellen's face contorts with a mix of pain and fury. So you what? Killed him for the money. Marjorie laughs, a harsh, bitter sound. Don't be dramatic. I simply helped nature along. A little too much medication here, a missed doctor's appointment there. He was going to leave me with nothing. I feel sick, but I force myself to stay focused. And what about us, Marjorie? Why come here and destroy our lives? Her gaze turns to me, cold and calculating. You were never supposed to be part of the equation. I thought I could push you out, have Kellen all to myself. A mother's love is forever, after all. Kellen stands abruptly, his fists clenched at his sides. You're no mother. You're a monster. For a moment, Marjorie's composure cracks, a flicker of genuine hurt crossing her face. But it's gone in an instant, replaced by steely resolve. You ungrateful child, she hisses. Everything I've done has been for you. No, Kellen says, his voice steady and sure. Everything you've done has been for yourself. And it ends now. He turns to me, determination in his eyes. Bree, call the police. And our lawyer. It's time to make this right. As I reach for my phone, Marjorie lunges forward, desperation etched on her face. You can't do this to me. I'm your mother. Kellen catches her wrists, holding her at bay. Not anymore. You made your choice, and now you'll face the consequences. As the sound of sirens approaches in the distance, I watch the final threads of Marjorie's web of lies unravel, and for the first time in months, I feel hope for our future. 6 months have passed since Marjorie's arrest, and today, we're finally moving into our new home. As I watch Kellen carry the last box through the front door, I can't help but feel a sense of triumph and relief. That's the last of it, Kellen says, wiping his brow. Ready to start our new chapter? I nod, placing a hand on my slightly swollen belly. More than ready. We walk through the house, our footsteps echoing in the empty rooms full of possibility. It's smaller than our first home, but it's ours, free from the shadows of the past. I got a letter from Mom's lawyer yesterday, Kellen says quietly as we reach the nursery. She's agreed to the plea deal. 5 years, plus restitution. I squeeze his hand, searching his face for signs of distress. How do you feel about that? He sighs, running a hand through his hair. Relieved, mostly. Sad too, I guess. But it's time to focus on our future, not her mistakes. As if on cue, I feel a flutter in my stomach. Kellen's eyes widen as I guide his hand to the spot. Is that? I nod, tears pricking my eyes. Your daughter's saying hello. We stand there, basking in the moment, when a knock at the door startles us. It's our new neighbors, bearing a welcome basket and warm smiles. As we chat with them, I catch a glimpse of our reflection in the window, Kellen's arm around me, my hand on my belly, both of us smiling genuinely for the first time in months. We've weathered the storm and come out stronger. Later that night, as we lie in bed, Kellen pulls me close. Thank you, he whispers. For what? I ask, tracing patterns on his chest. For fighting for us. For seeing the truth when I couldn't. I kiss him softly. We fought together. And we won. As we drift off to sleep, I think about the journey that brought us here. The pain, the betrayal, the hard-won victory. But most of all, I think about the future, our future, bright and full of promise, free from manipulation and deceit. We're finally home,